All right, so we're here today without Daniel. It feels like a sad day.
Yeah, rest in peace, Daniel.
Where's he in pieces at?
I don't know.
Or in a
We're
piece.
gonna dig him up next time, and he'll be back.
He's off sitting on the beaches of Puerto Vallarta, twinkling his toes in the sand.
Is that in America? So we murdered Daniel.
So Daniel's not here today. He's gone.
Yeah,
I didn't murder him. Did you murder him?
not directly.
Yeah, that's on record. That's on record.
If you don't do it yourself, it's not murder, right?
This guy. He's on the beaches, toes in the sand, margarita in hand.
It's
Probably.
kind of late for the beach.
Yeah, well, I don't know what time it is right now.
No.
I think we started a little late tonight.
It's anytime you want it to be.
It's past 5 o'clock.
It's roughly 9:30.
It's past 5 o'clock. I know that.
That's true. It's past 5 o'clock somewhere, including here.
So what are we going to hit without Daniel today?
Well, I want to talk about plant sex.
Plant sex.
Not actually
like planned sex or plant sex.
the lack thereof. So apparently there's a conspiracy about plants.
Okay.
Yeah. So American cities, turns out, real sausage fest when it comes to the trees.
What do you mean?
So apparently in like the 1950s, they were doing all this city planning, and they're like, these trees are dropping a whole lot of shit on our sidewalks. I'm talking about berries.
Yeah, I got it.
And fruits,
like
and,
not actual
and
shit.
such.
Yeah.
And it turns out, I don't know if you knew this. I didn't know this until this podcast. Not this podcast, but that podcast. They're boy plants.
Like all plants?
Yeah.
They're
No.
not like, oh wait, there are boy and girl plants?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean there's like the what do they call it? The pistil part of the plant. Like isn't pollen is essentially just semen floating through the air.
Gross.
You're getting semen in your eyes and your nose, and
So this is
so when you're coughing, you're just choking on plant semen. That's allergies.
There's one allergy I don't have, actually.
Oh, so
I'm fine with it.
You're fine. Just squirt it all over your face.
It's more of a powdery.
Yeah,
so,
powder it all over your face. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have any problem with the plant semen floating. So apparently they didn't want to deal with all the berries and such.
Okay.
And so a massive percentage of the plants, the trees in cities are boys.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So the girls are the messy ones. I guess they're the ones bearing fruit.
Yeah. Yeah. So there was even a comic, I think, I don't know when this was. I don't know who said it, so I'm sorry, I cannot credit them. But she's like, so anyway, they realized all these bitch plants were having their periods all over the sidewalk. And like, we can't have that. We got rid of them.
Oh my goodness. That's actually kind of wild. I never thought about that.
Yeah. But knock on consequences. You know how every time they introduce a new species to Australia and it fucks everything up?
I mean, isn't that every species in Australia, period?
People, certainly.
Yeah.
But you had like, you know about the feral, this is a sidebar. You know about like the feral cat population in Australia?
No, but I know there's like a lot of countries that have that.
Okay. Let's go back to who swallowed the fly?
Oh, man. There's an old lady.
There once was an old lady who swallowed a fly. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Australia is the old lady.
Okay. Oh, I thought this was actually part of the story. Okay.
This is such a sidebar. Okay. So Australia has this old lady. She swallows a fly. Like, okay, we need frogs. So they I think they bring in frogs. I'm probably wrong.
Okay.
But they brought in something ridiculous and it got out of control. And they're like, fuck, we have too many frogs. What eats frogs? Like foxes. I don't know. And they bring in all these foxes and now they've got like a fox infestation. And they bring in, anyway. So they did that half a dozen times. I don't know what the specific animals were, but I'm pretty sure they did it. They were messing around with nature. You know what? It was probably they had a bunch of rats.
Oh, it's always the rats.
Fucking rats. And
I was going to throw some snakes in my backyard because our rat problem going on.
That's what they didn't think of. Australia doesn't have enough snakes.
Owls are a better option. I have those flying around in my backyard.
That would be so cool.
We've got 4 of them hooting around.
Have you named any of them?
Who?
See what you did there.
I haven't. I should.
Yeah.
There's no Hedwigs. All of them are brown.
Brown.
Yeah.
What's his name? Errol. You can name him Errol.
Is that Ron's?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Harry Potter, folks.
I'm sure everyone on Earth knows these references.
Oh man, I was gonna go into a Harry Potter thing, but I need you to finish your.
Okay, I'm like 4 tangents deep.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't want to go into another tangent.
Okay, Australia has like a wild cat problem.
Okay,
like house cats, but they're not house cats. They're like the wild house cat that like lives outside your house and kills everything. There's like probably like millions of them, and so in Australia, there's like a bounty on like
cats,
like Felinus domesticus.
Okay.
Yeah, like the domestic house cat. Like you can like bring cat pelts to your government, and they will give you like
gold shillings,
20 Australia dollars.
A shilling is silver.
I don't know how many rupees, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know what's the currency out there.
It's dollars.
It's just Australian dollars.
But they pronounce it like dollars.
Dollars. I can't even do it. I could say like booby, get them boobies out flying around, something like that.
That's all you really need. You've mastered Australian.
Yeah, that's all you need, really.
Yeah.
Bathroom.
That's the dunny.
The dunny?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I had an Australian friend named Danny. Danny.
They hate us right now.
Don't worry, we don't have any Australian listeners. If we did, we don't anymore.
Oh, that's true.
But I'm right about the cats. Yeah, I had an Australian friend named Danny. Daniel. He had an Asian, probably Japanese friend, and she came looking for him at his place of work. And she's like, "Where's Danny? Where's Danny?" And they're like, "Oh, the dunny, it's back there." And they kept sending it to the bathroom.
Meanwhile, her boyfriend is gone and probably murdered somewhere.
Probably.
I don't know. Are you gonna get murdered in Australia? I feel like you're more likely to be killed by like something.
Alligators.
Alligators, spiders, snakes. Have you seen the like weird spider season? Where it's like
raining
everything
spiders.
is covered in spider webs everywhere.
I would leave the country right then.
It's like spider webs as far as you can see, like walls of spider web. I mean, I don't know if this was like some altered image that I saw, but I've seen it multiple times.
I'd probably set them on fire.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah, I know they do have huntsman spiders, which are like, like that.
Isn't the huntsman just kind of like a daddy long leg?
Yeah, it's not dangerous.
Yeah.
But it's like it could crawl on your face.
Oh yeah.
And I would absolutely lose my shit. I would just die of fear.
Well, we have tarantulas here.
I've never seen one.
You've never seen tarantula? They're pretty.
I've seen them in a terrarium.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, they get pretty big.
I'm not afraid of things in terrariums.
They're like not just in terrariums though. If you would have went camping with me.
Yeah. Well, we could have been covered in rain right now.
Yeah, my camping. I was supposed to go camping this weekend for those of you listening, and the forecast kept being like rain, thunder, snow, whatever. And we're like, do we? We have 3 kids, and they were like, no, that's a horrible idea.
Kids like thunder. Yeah, my kid.
That's actually probably the most dangerous part is the thunder and lightning.
Yeah, you don't want to get struck by lightning. It's not advised by health professionals.
Actually, now that I think about it, I like when I was mindlessly scrolling through Facebook earlier, it was giving me a bunch of videos of people almost getting struck by lightning.
Almost.
I wonder if it was telling me.
Keyword.
Something. Yeah. Almost. Yeah. I didn't go, so I almost got struck by lightning.
It's like that Benjamin Button movie.
That's Powder. I think you're thinking Powder.
What?
Powder. The movie where that guy gets struck by his mom gets struck by lightning, and it's an old movie. He basically gets struck. His mom gets struck by lightning. He's born and he's like super albino, but then he has all these like supernatural powers.
This is somehow offensive.
I didn't make the movie. They don't make movies like that anymore.
I wonder why.
Yeah,
they get canceled. In Benjamin Button, there's an old guy who says that like three or 4 times during the movie. He says, "Did I ever tell you I got struck by lightning 7 times? Once when I was just out milking a cow." And then it flashes to a black and white sepia tone flashback of him getting struck by lightning. That
sounds vaguely familiar, actually. Yeah.
Anyway, so you can kill cats in Australia for money.
Dude, there was somebody in our vicinity
killing cats,
killing people's cats, like luring them in and killing their cats, and it was like kept popping up on like the random like Ring app and Nextdoor app and whatever, like police apps or whatever. I just like kept seeing this picture of this guy like looking for this dude, and then they finally caught him.
They should let cats eat his eyes.
Let the cats eat his eyes?
Yeah.
Eye for an eye.
Yeah.
Eye for a cat for an eye.
Yeah. That's a rabbit hole I don't want to go down.
A cat hole.
Of like animal murdering.
Oh no. Yeah, let's get off that subject real quick.
Yeah.
I don't even want to go there.
Because I actually read an article about it, and it like put me off my app for a day.
Yeah. There was something else you brought up before we started recording that you said you wanted to talk about. That sounded
I was
interesting.
still talking about tree sex.
Oh yeah. How did we get off the tree sex?
I got distracted by Australia.
Yeah. Meanwhile, that went nowhere.
I'm sure people got something out of that. So apparently, here's where it gets fun, because there's a conspiracy opportunity. As you said, the male trees are the pollen producers, which is basically tree junk.
Mm-hmm.
And
just say it. You know what it is.
It's spermatozoa. And so that is increasing the length and severity of allergy season.
I thought my allergies were bad, but no, this would have been a thing for a long time though.
Well, I mean, in our lifetime, yes.
Yeah.
But like, apparently allergy season has on average gotten 34 days longer since 1970.
Huh.
Like peak allergy
I
season.
knew I liked the trees in my backyard better because they're fruit trees.
See, you like the lady trees?
Yeah. It's like my dogs. I prefer them to be females.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't know why. I think I just have a stronger bond with them.
Yeah.
No, that's not true, because Wilson, my little dog, was a male.
All types are necessary for the circle of life. I think balance is key.
Yeah.
So apparently if you have the female trees about, the pollen will actually just like land on them and get stuck. But because there's only male trees, it's just like floating around.
Just getting stuck.
Just useless.
It doesn't
making
get stuck on the males?
I think they spit it back out.
Okay, so there's no like gay trees.
There might be. But they're not reproducing. So allergy season gets worse. Get this. Zyrtec
Mhm.
went on a mysteriously convenient tree planting spree.
Oh, here we go.
And so
Again?
like, yeah. And so like
Where'd you hear this?
James Lee, 5149
Oh
YouTube,
man.
my go-to guy for very legitimate conspiracy theories, which I have another one from him. But yeah, so Zyrtec planted all these trees in like Washington, D.C., like Detroit and one other city, maybe Baltimore, I can't remember. And like everybody's allergies got worse.
That's wild.
And their profits went up because they sell allergy medicine, in case you didn't know.
So let's see. We have the Zyrtec conspiracy theory.
Mm-hmm.
We have the what did I bring up the other week?
Donald Trump, Elon, aliens,
Oh, the food one.
food
Yeah.
conspiracy.
The food conspiracy.
Tell me about that.
Well, no, we already talked about it. You can go to the previous episode if you want to hear about that. Episode 11. Yeah.
And we've got the Bieber conspiracy.
That's what it was. Bieber.
Bieber.
Tell me about Bieber.
Poor Bieber.
Well, I keep seeing all these videos of him, like where he looks like he's all drugged out and whatever, but like,
Yes.
Is
This is the conspiracy.
okay,
Bieber is getting Britney'd.
because of Diddy.
That's rude. Possibly. No. So here's the conspiracy.
Okay.
Bieber was chosen by the system. The system made
Diddy.
him.
It wasn't Diddy. It was Usher, who was
Usher.
a Diddy guy. Wasn't Usher discovered by Diddy?
Shame on you, Usher. I don't know.
Yeah, this is the thing. Like,
I-
there's like a circle going on there.
It's
Google
more
it.
of a.
Google it.
It's a line.
YouTube it. Wait, okay. So keep going. You think that he's getting Britney'd?
Yeah.
Well, that's a whole nother thing. You got to explain the Britney thing.
Yeah. Well, okay. I guess we should go there.
Yeah.
I mean, does anybody not know what happened to Britney Spears?
I mean, it looks like she's going crazy currently.
There was a song about that. It was called Crazy.
Are we talking about the same song? Huh? Like what was his name? CeeLo Green?
Oh, that's a good song.
Is that the one?
I don't know.
Oh, you're thinking about the Britney Spears crazy.
That's what
one.
I was thinking of.
Got it. Because I was okay. That's another conspiracy theory. Let's just back up and go to Britney.
I know what this episode is called.
Yeah.
Conspiracy theories with Aaron and Jerry.
Yeah.
This is why we need Daniel
It
to
is.
keep us grounded, up in the clouds. But these are all real.
Yeah. Obviously.
This is not your regular conspiracy podcast. This is legit facts. So, Britney Spears, look, I don't know her situation specifically. All I know is what appeared to happen. She was a young pop star who at some point lost her mind, went off the rails, shaved her head.
And this was a long time ago where she shaved her head.
And this was after dating Kevin Federline, which was a whole other bag of bad choices.
Right. A whole other bag of douches.
Yeah. So, God, I bet like half the people listening won't even know who that is.
Yeah. A dude that...
Good on you for being young.
Dude that knocked out Britney Spears. There's probably a whole group of young people that don't even know who Britney Spears is.
No.
There's got to be.
She's like Michael Jackson. Less. Interesting.
That was the owls outside. Sorry.
Oh,
keep going. Sorry.
Yeah, so Britney Spears appeared to lose her mind, and then at some point, she ends up in a conservatorship.
That's right.
Which means her mom,
dad,
her shitty dad, controls all her millions of dollars. So you have this weird situation where you have this human person and another person is like controlling their finances supposedly for their own good, but it creates this incentive structure for her dad, assuming he's shitty, to make it appear as much as possible as she's batshit insane, right? So maybe she's completely rational, and now it's like that Angelina Jolie movie where she gets institutionalized against her will. I mean, there's like a dozen movies like that, but but one of them stars Angelina Jolie, and she's like totally normal. I mean, she's probably not normal because it's really hard to deal with being that famous.
As a kid, too, especially.
I mean, and like super sexualized as probably like a 15-year-old.
Yeah, and also who knows what goes on with the Disney things, and that that's a whole other conversation.
Was she Disney?
She was Disney. She came. Oh, was it Mickey Mouse? Mickey Mouse Club, which is Disney. Yeah.
She was. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, it was like her.
JT.
Yeah, a bunch of them. I think the Aaron, whatever. What was his name? He was also he NSYNC or Backstreet Boys? I think Backstreet Boys.
Carter.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he was. One of the ones that came like kind of unscathed, at least so far, was what was the guy in The Notebook?
Bradley Cooper?
No, The Notebook.
I didn't watch that.
Love story.
I'm a
He was also in Barbie.
I'm a red-blooded Gosling.
Yeah. Right. So Ryan Gosling, which apparently, so I've heard, was supposed to be part of NSYNC. But then something happened, and then he didn't end up being part of the group. Either NSYNC or Backstreet Boys. I always get them confused.
Oh my God! There's a timeline where Ryan Gosling is in NSYNC.
Yeah.
But he would have forever been in JT's shadow, and he never would have got anywhere.
I mean, that's
there can only be one.
But he's having a thing too.
What?
Yeah.
All right.
And you keep saying JT. We're talking about
Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, he's having a thing too. Like, people keep tearing him apart online. He keeps looking like he's like not tweaked out of his mind, but like on something.
Justin?
Yeah.
Not Justin.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
He's too powerful.
I don't know if it was like the post, like, because Britney Spears just released some kind of like memoir thing or whatever, right? Where she was saying that Justin Timberlake forced her to have an abortion.
Honestly, without knowing either of these people, I could 100% see that being possible, but unfounded.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can't really say anything for sure specific about a celebrity because you don't really know them.
Yeah. I know what their PR wants me to believe.
Right.
So here's the thing, PR. Fuck, I can't remember who or what she's involved in, but there's a lady, like this go-to PR lady in Hollywood. And apparently she is great at smear campaigns. Right? And so the Bieber conspiracy is that this lady has been sicked on Bieber.
So the question is, why?
Conservatorship. If they can make Bieber look like he's nuts, then they can put him in a conservatorship for his own good, right? The same playbook they ran on Britney. And then his billions, I would assume.
I don't think he's a billionaire, but he's got a lot of money.
His
But he just sold all his catalog too.
Okay.
So I don't think he even owns his music anymore. Or like,
Well,
I don't think he ever completely owned it, but
yeah.
whatever he did
He's
own,
trying to
I'm
get
pretty
out.
sure he sold.
So that's the thing. He's trying to get out, right? He's like, he made his money. He had his day in the limelight. He wants to be like his own person.
Right.
Right. Like, and you see him in these like interactions with the paparazzi where he's like, all you people care about is money, money,
Yeah.
money, money. You don't
Yeah.
care about people. Go away. Like, you
Yeah.
know, he just wants to be left alone.
Yeah.
Which is tough
fair.
because, you know, you open that door and it's real hard to close it again.
The hard part though too is like, tell that to a 14-year-old, right? Like, or how old was it when he was how old was he when he was
15.
like,
But yeah,
when you're 15, 14 years old, you don't know what that's going
Yeah.
to turn into. Say Britney Spears was a child.
yeah, shame on his parents.
Justin
honestly.
Timberlake
Like,
was a child.
mhm.
You know, Macaulay Culkin, you know, going back to the old school, whatever,
Mhm.
like they don't fucking know. And they get in
Yeah.
these positions and they become super famous and they can't go anywhere the rest of their lives.
And once you make that much money, people feel like, well, like fuck, you know, no sympathy for you. Like boo-hoo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Boo-hoo, multi-hundred
It's so
millionaire.
wild to me that, I mean, you're kind of one of those people actually that stops having emotions for people once they get over a certain level of like wealth.
That's not true.
Yours is the billionaires,
Oh, that's true. I hate billionaires.
which you know, to be fair, most of them probably are shitty people because there's only a handful of them.
Actually, I think J.K. Rowling is a billionaire, so I have to temper my billionaire hate.
But there's a lot of people who think she's a shitty person.
But I'm not one of them. I think it's complicated. My issue with most billionaires is in pretty much every case, like you dig like even slightly below the surface and it turns out that they have done like really terrible things. J.K. Rowling, as far as I could tell, just wrote really popular books and got really great merchandising opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
Like she just won the lottery, essentially. And with Bieber, like, yeah, he's really, you know, he's a talented singer. He got picked up when he was real young. I'm sure he was loving it for like the first couple years, and then eventually it probably started to turn sour, and then he wanted out.
But then this is why I was bringing up the Diddy thing. Like I wasn't just
Right, like
cracking jokes about Diddy. Like maybe something happened to Bieber
yeah,
where either A, he was molested.
mhm,
Like I don't want to say for sure. Obviously, this is his life, and I don't know anything about it.
yeah,
But like maybe that's a possibility, and he like got pulled into that,
mhm,
and like that fucked him up mentally, and he's kind of like stuck in this situation where he has to fulfill contracts and do whatever, and then now he's trying to get away from it. You know,
mhm,
or on the opposite end of the spectrum, maybe he got pulled in as a young kid and they did the whole kind of like frame, like how you talked about with like maybe like the Epstein situation
mhm.
where they essentially had him do something
Oh,
to
they like
somebody.
blackmailing him,
Right. And then he like, maybe he didn't want to, maybe it was against his will. I have no clue. These are just,
Yeah,
this is conspiracy.
This is actual conspiracy.
Yeah. Actual
random.
conspiracy. Yeah. You know, speculation, whatever. And, he's just like, I need to fucking get out of this before I
Mhm.
actually get like tied into something that like I never really intended to do. But
Well, here's the other thing is like Bieber working is a money printer.
yeah,
Bieber not working is useless,
yeah,
right? So like there are people who will think of him not as like a human being, but as just like a paycheck, and like a very large paycheck. So, and you know, people kill for money, so like, you know, they'll do pretty much anything. So it's fucking wild. There's a like a hedge fund or an private equity company that like specializes in like managing these conservatorships. Right?
really.
Yeah. I can't remember the name. James Lee, look it up. He's my go-to for conspiracies. But the theory is that like this is the playbook they're running, that they're gonna make him look crazy, show him having all these public outbursts, make him look like tweaked out, publish like really misleading articles about him in like very widely read, you know, publications. And it's just PR, right? It's the same thing that works for him. It can now be turned against him. And then they get him and then they've got like a milk cow that they can squeeze money out of.
So I see a similar thing going on with Katy Perry right now,
Interesting.
where they are trying to like frame her in this light where she's just like kind of dumb and like losing her ability to like perform. Like she's looking like a mom on stage, which she is a mom. Come on. And then what's wrong with looking like a mom? Also, like moms are hot. Uh, that's a whole nother subject. But like, what would be the incentive of that, right? Like, are they tearing, like, why do celebrities get to a certain point where they just start tearing them down
Yeah.
or making them look crazy or making them look shitty or whatever? Like, it, she could still potentially generate money.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
I read the like negative. I mean, I'm not like reading like People magazine or whatever, but I read comments on the internet and I read the negative Katy Perry comments and I'm just like, yeah, people dislike Katy Perry. It's like unreflectively like, oh yeah, like people just dislike her. Whereas like I hear the Bieber one, I'm like, yeah, Bieber's getting victimized.
Right. See, so like, that's what I'm saying. How is it not one and the same?
Yeah.
I mean, Bieber, like they're definitely making Bieber look really shitty in the terms of like crazy, like Britney,
Yeah.
like they're showing him on the streets with homeless
Like
people.
he needs help.
Right. Yeah. So where Britney, they're making her look, or sorry, not Britney, Katy Perry, they're just like trying to make her look like washed up.
Maybe it's because they want her to retire so that they can like get their next big 20-year-old, and like that's more valuable to them because the Katy Perry is what, like in her 30s, I would guess, and like she knows how to like to haggle, right?
Maybe. Yeah.
You know how when a company starts laying people
Well,
off,
you
they,
have like worth, right? You're like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that or whatever.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And they want somebody they can push around. So like, she's getting a little mouthy. Maybe we'll move on to like 20, Tiffany, 20-year-old.
Yeah. That makes sense. It's just so weird that you don't really think about it when you're a kid.
Mhm.
And just how, sure, we're talking about potential conspiracy theories here, but there's no denying that business and just the world is fucking shady and dark.
Yeah. Well, this was the plot of Josie and the Pussycats, the movie.
Was
the
it?
The live action
it
movie.
was. Huh? And they kind of turn them against each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, yeah,
It's a
that's
real
crazy.
movie.
Yeah. Well, okay. So talking about conspiracy theories and Katy Perry brings me to another subject, the Blue Origin launch.
Spaceship.
Because I've been seeing things about that where people keep saying they think was not real, like a staged situation. Have you not seen that?
Just like the moon?
Kind of, yeah. Like there's a bunch of people online basically saying they were in like one of those kind of like anti-gravity planes.
Oh, interesting.
Right. So there's like Katy Perry's just literally staring at the camera the whole time. Like she
Mhm.
never actually looks out of the window and she's like holding up this flower. And it's kind of like, why is she just looking into the camera the whole time and like not looking out into space?
Space.
Right. Yeah. And
she's a well-trained performer.
yeah. Right.
She knows where the money is.
And then when it lands, they have this thing where the girls like open the door themselves. Like they open the door and start to come out, but then they like close it and they're like, no, like don't open it yet.
Yeah.
And then they like have this whole thing where they're kind of going around the ship or whatever. And then Jeff Bezos walks over and looks like he's like unlocking the door, like with this weird like crowbar looking thing. And then they come out. So it was like caught on camera on like this live thing or whatever, where we weren't supposed to see the door open, and just like a bunch of other things. Like the shuttle didn't look like it was like dirty, like on impact when it like landed or something. And then I don't know, there's those, and Jeff Bezos actually falls on his face running around the capsule. Do you see that?
I haven't watched any of it, but
oh man, he literally just like eats shit, just like he's like running around the capsule and then falls on his face.
I'll watch that.
It's beautiful.
Jeff Bezos.
To be honest, I really don't enjoy seeing people get hurt, even shitty people.
No, it's called Schadenfreude.
What is that?
It's I'm probably mispronouncing my German. I'm sorry, but it's the joy you feel when other people are.
Of course, it's German.
Schadenfreude. You don't know this word?
I don't, but it makes sense that it's German. If you're
like, I mean, just remember all the hours you must have spent watching fail videos on YouTube, on early YouTube.
I mean, that's like Jackass.
But no, because those are people you like.
Oh, so you just wanted to be random people that you don't even know? I mean, you don't know the people from Jackass.
But I feel like there's like a relationship building there in the project of like the cinema.
Isn't that a weird thing?
Mm.
The relationship building of people that you don't know.
Yeah.
Like have never met you, but you feel like you could know them. Like I feel like a lot of people think that about podcasts, like famous podcasters, like Joe Rogan as an example.
Yeah.
He's huge. A lot of people listen to him.
He's actually only like 5'7".
His muscles are huge. No, but like people, you listen to him so often, it almost becomes like an acquaintance or a friend that you know,
Yeah.
and you hear the voice. And if you were to kind of like come across him in real life, it would seem like you know everything about them.
I mean, I probably know more about Joe Rogan than I know about most people.
That's what I'm saying. It's wild. It's the same thing like when celebrities die and people get sad about it, right? Like you've been watching them your whole life and
you've never met
it's
them?
like you lost a friend. Yeah.
Although I did meet Ian McKellen, which I think I talked about, so I don't want to talk about it again.
Yeah.
So, but I'm definitely going to be sad when he dies because he's old.
Yeah. Well, we're all going to get there one day.
We could talk about Joe Rogan.
What about Joe Rogan?
Joe Rogan got interventioned, but not to his face.
Oh, we're talking about
Malcolm Gladwell.
Yeah.
Yeah. My favorite revisionist historian.
Yeah. Revisionist History is his podcast. Or show, whatever you want to call it. I listened to that episode. Why don't you go ahead and give it a quick summary real quick?
I guess we should assume that there's at least one person listening who doesn't know who Malcolm Gladwell is. He writes books. He's like a well-respected writer. He's written books on like what makes great people, great athletes, whatever. Like Chance of Fate and stuff like that. He is like the king of rabbit holes. He'll just pick like apparently random ass topic that interests him, and then he will learn everything about it. And then on top of that, he's a really good storyteller. He's the only person whose commercials I will intentionally not skip. You can tell he's doing a commercial, but it never sounds like a commercial, like an ad read.
Oh, like his like in show ad reads, yeah.
Yeah, they're so good. Like I would recommend you just listen to his ad reads.
But he's a lot funnier than I thought he would
Really?
be. Yeah. I don't know. I actually had never listened to a full episode until the other day, which is very random you brought him up because that was like the first episode that I listened to.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's recently discovered YouTube, which is a little late for someone as smart as he is. Until recently, I had only listened to him on the podcast app, and there's no discovery there. Yeah, he popped up on my YouTube, which is why I listened to it. So the algorithm knows me well enough to know that I would like Malcolm Gladwell, even though I've never listened to him there. So he's like a professional interviewer. That's like one of his jobs, right? He writes for like the New York Times. He's like very high level publications, and he will interview like important people and write like intelligent articles about them. And he's also like a great speaker. And he said that he was like in the car, like driving, listening to Joe Rogan, which he sometimes does. He's not like a JRE like regular listener, but he'll listen to Joe Rogan, which I feel like probably a lot of people, given that Joe Rogan is like one of the top podcasters in the world.
The top.
he jumps in and out, I guess. But so he was listening to Joe Rogan in the car, and I think there were 2 episodes he referenced. One was with RFK for sure, and I can't remember the other one, but he talks about how Joe Rogan was talking to RFK, and RFK said something. So there was like a bombshell. I believe it had to do with, I'm sure it had to do with autism. I'm trying to remember on the spot. Autism, Anthony Fauci, autism caused by. He made a bombshell statement.
Yeah.
And Joe was like, oh. And then he accepted and moved on. And like I think he made like 2 back-to-back like bombshell statements. I think that's what he said. And Joe just like moved on. And in Malcolm Gladwell's like characteristic way, he's like, "Oh, Joe," right? And then he decides to do an episode on Joe Rogan, and basically, he was doing like an intervention at a distance of Joe Rogan because, the other one was with Elon, the Nazi salute.
Yeah.
And, there's this clip of Joe talking to Elon after the Nazi salute debacle. And like, people disagree about the Nazi salute, but like, Joe like doesn't push him at all on when they talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, I think the whole episode was essentially talking about the lost art of interviewing, right?
Right.
So you're having somebody on and if you're in Joe's shoes, like you are having an influence on the nation, essentially. I mean, it's been it's debatable whether he influenced the election.
I think it's pretty arguable.
Yeah.
He probably did.
Yeah. So essentially what Malcolm Gladwell was getting at was like, you have a responsibility to like question and put people in check, to where it's like, you know, Joe just essentially wants to do like it's like friends having a conversation.
Yeah.
And he would, you know, I think the thing that he had said was like, okay, Elon gave the Nazi salute, quote unquote Nazi salute. And Joe Rogan was essentially like consoling a friend, like, you know, they did something stupid, but you're their friend, so you're like, no man, you're like, you didn't do that, I know you didn't do that, it wasn't stupid. To where it's like, you know, if we do that, nobody fucking knows who we are, and like whatever. But Joe Rogan literally, and I've thought about this with celebrities in general, like I feel like once you become known enough to a certain amount of people, you're almost obligated to be responsible for the things that you do and say, because it is going to influence the people that you are inspiring, or that just like listen to you, that are watching you or whatever.
I guess I have mixed feelings about it. Like, so the first time I remember this coming up was with Alex Jones, who has been friends with Joe Rogan for a long time. I don't know. I kind of assume they're not on speaking terms anymore, but I could be wrong. And this was pre Sandy Hook like lawsuit.
Wait, who had a Sandy Hook lawsuit? Alex Jones.
Alex Jones.
Okay.
You not aware of this?
I think I am. Is it because like he was essentially saying that there was like child actors or whatever that were saying they were a part of the shooting, and the parents were?
No, he was saying like the kids who died were actors.
Oh, saying they were actors. That's what it was. I'm sorry.
And he was harassing the parents of the kids who like actually got murdered.
Right.
Yeah, like, and like relentlessly harassing them and talking about them on his show, which meant that like, you know, like
other people were being like, oh, these people are lying. You know, they didn't really have kids that died or whatever. Like,
but
how
not just
fucking
that.
crazy would that be if you were a parent? Twilight Zone moment, right?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is going on right now? Like,
Dude,
you just lost your kids and now you have all these fucking assholes.
Yeah. And the people were harassing the parents. That's like, it wasn't just Alex Jones talking about them.
Right.
You could turn off the, you know, the radio or whatever the fuck he's on. You could turn him off and like not be affected by him. The problem is like they were getting like hate mail.
Right.
Like, how dare you? This is America. You can't do this shit. You know?
Again, that's an example of me saying once you have a certain level of fan base, you have a responsibility not to be a dickhead.
So Alex Jones has always been like a controversial figure, but he that was like the moment where he like, I think, went beyond the pale.
Sure.
I think for a lot of people, and certainly for me.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, do you think he knew that it was going to snowball into that? Like, maybe he was doing it as a shock factor and like kind of being slimy and making money off of somebody else's misery, and didn't intend for people to be like harassing the parents, right? Like, what did he do after that started happening? Like, did he still keep fucking rolling with it?
He ran with it.
Oh, he ran with it. Okay.
And that's why he got sued to fucking oblivion and lost.
Yeah.
And fucking good riddance. But my point is, this was like Joe Rogan. I specifically remember I starting to hear the whole like, why doesn't he push back feedback about Alex Jones pre Sandy Hook?
Yeah.
Because Alex Jones will just say crazy shit. You know, like the things he was known for before that were like, they're turning the frogs gay, right? Like, you know, they're putting chemicals in the water, contrails, you know, all that shit. You know, he just shouts into the camera and just says, you know, whatever crazy shit that comes to him. And like almost nothing is too far. Interestingly, I think he did push back when Kanye started saying he admired Hitler. He's like, Kanye, I don't know if we can go that one.
I think he's doing something right now against Trump or something.
Yeah, so he's like starting to pop up again, which is weird. But I guess he's got to pay those billions to the Sandy Hook families.
Is it how much did they win?
All of his money, and probably all of the money he could like ever earn in his lifetime. He's like fully bankrupt. Like, so he tried to like declare bankruptcy and like secretly funnel his millions into like some like Cayman Islands account, and they like caught him.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's wild.
I don't know about the Cayman Islands thing. Allegedly.
Yeah.
I don't have any concrete details. I just know he was like trying to declare bankruptcy so he could get out of paying. And he's like popping up again. I think
it had something to do with him disagreeing with what Trump is doing currently. And I think it was like sending people to the prisons that we were talking about.
Mm.
Yeah. Like,
Oh, you know what it is?
like he's doing something clearly illegal.
No, I think this was an interesting point, and I heard them make it about Nick Fuentes, who's supposedly a Nazi. I don't know anything about this guy other than people call him Nazi.
Who is he?
He's a public figure. I don't know.
Okay.
He's like a Alex Jones type.
Okay.
You know, like a public talk show person.
Okay.
Political, very right wing, like maybe the farthest right wing. And he might be like a self-proclaimed Nazi, which is like weird.
Yeah.
But like that might be where that guy is at. They were saying that they are like nervous about Trump deporting American citizens for like certain shit because they're doing the sort of shit you could potentially get deported for. Right. So it's like they don't want to get sent to a gulag. So like, yeah, Trump, maybe you don't deport people there.
Yeah.
You know, you won't always be in power there.
Oh my goodness. You know, I know we went mega political recently. I don't want to go super political right now, but
yeah,
there's like a lot of funding being taken from National Public Radio and PBS and science foundations and colleges. And what are your thoughts on that?
Isn't PBS funded by like donations?
So most of the funding comes like via donations, but I think it is still a decent amount that is funded by the government.
So my theory about those things is Trump defunding them is obviously bad. It's like, first of all, they account for like 0.000000 times 21% of the government budget. It's not going to do anything. It's just like a national public good that he's defunding.
Well, you know why they're doing it though?
Because they hate the liberals.
Yeah, well, because they're saying that they're spreading misinformation.
Of course they are.
Yeah.
Apparently he's canceling the Tiny Desk concerts.
Wait, really?
I mean,
why?
That's part of NPR, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But was that like a specific thing or is it just like...
I mean, that's what somebody said.
Okay.
But I'm just scrolling.
Yeah.
I don't know what's real. All I know is there's trees outside. All I know for real.
Well, and like funding for like NASA is some like crazy small amount of...
We don't need NASA. We've got fucking SpaceX.
Well, that's the crazy thing. It's
Jeff
like, okay,
Bezos'
how do we with a bunch of women inside of it.
It all makes sense now.
Yeah. That's the crazy thing is it's like, you know, pulling funding away from all these. So we have Doge, which is Elon Musk. And then now, you know, essentially pulling funding away from science and NASA and whatever. And then you have Elon Musk. Is he getting money from
I don't think so.
He's winning contracts.
So I think Trump's annoyed with Elon right now.
Yeah.
So everybody else is annoyed with Elon. Trump finally caught on.
I saw something and I didn't have a chance to actually look. I just like quickly saw it that I don't know if this is real or not, but is Trump suing Elon?
That seems far-fetched. The last time I heard Trump like publicly talk about Elon, I don't know how recent, like in terms of like numbers of events this was, but like Trump was like, you know, Elon, like everybody likes you. You did a great job. We all like you, but you and he probably has to get back to his cars. He's got a company to run.
Yeah.
So it was like, you know, you're real nice. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
But it very much wasn't like, I'm going to like sue you.
Right.
Yeah. It was like they wanted to like both save face.
Yeah.
But also Trump wanted Elon to get the fuck away.
It's confusing of like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Like, what is what?
Well, Tesla's crashing and burning.
Yeah, we know that.
Which is making me real happy.
Yeah. Like my thing is, it's like, what does that mean for science? Right? Like
capital S science?
And what do you mean?
I don't know. I was talking capital S.
Yeah, capital S science. Yeah. No. Like
the funding?
Yeah, the funding. Like where does that, I guess, does a lot of the funding for research and new technology and experiments and whatever, does that come from donations or is that coming from government funding?
Like grants?
Yeah. Because most grants are government funding, right? I mean, maybe there's rich people that like are like, hey, I'm giving a grant towards whatever, but
prizes, things like that. I mean, we know the pharmaceutical companies are subsidized by the U.S. government. Like all of the major breakthroughs have been paid for by tax dollars in the past like 50 years. We know that, but we don't need to cure anything. You know, we've got all the cures. I'm sure there's gonna be like 1 million like little but like significant programs that just disappear. People like what you're not gonna get is like the random like miracle discoveries that no one was counting on.
Mm-hmm.
If the funding goes away, some guys studying salamanders in Nicaragua and figures out how to regrow
You mean we're
limbs.
not going to get hair regrowth back?
We might have that.
Yeah, I don't think it's coming. Not anymore. Funding got cut.
Funding got cut.
Funding got a haircut.
That it did.
Yep.
Right down to the bones. I think the lack of U.S. funding has been a complaint in the science community for a long time, right?
Right.
Like the big projects. I mean, some of the big projects not necessarily the best, but they got us, nuclear energy.
Yeah. I mean, I just saw that in all of the new. I mean, you'd think that they would want funding for science right now with everything going on, with all of the technology increases around the world. You think we would want to be on top of that.
Yeah.
Like not fall behind. But apparently a bunch of money is being pulled out of different areas. And now on the new budget, the military budget has increased.
I mean, we need more guns. America needs more guns. I mean, did you hear about the, I don't know if it was like a F-16 or like what
that fell off
the carrier.
Yeah. Well, how did that happen? So there was an F-16 that fell off of an aircraft carrier. Was it because they were being attacked?
They were being shot at by the Houthis.
Yeah.
Why are we fucking fighting the Houthis? I don't know. Let's follow the chain of events. October 7th, Israel attacks Hamas, broadens that attack to encompass the entirety of Gaza. The U.S. subsidizes and supports and provides weapons for that. The Houthis, who I presume are Arabs of some variety. I don't know if that's the correct term, but assuming it is, they're in some way culturally or ethnically related to the Palestinians. Say, hey, that's not cool. So they start shooting at the Israelis. The U.S. send battleships over to the Red Sea. I assume it's Red Sea. I think it's Red Sea to protect shipping lanes from the Houthis. And on one of those carriers, like last week, there was a jet that apparently on aircraft carriers, everything is like tied down at all times. But one of these jets was being like just like moved when they had to take like evasive action on like an aircraft carrier, which I assume means turning at like 0.01 miles per hour and, like to avoid a missile.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why they couldn't shoot that down. That seems like a more effective.
Right.
And it rolled right off the edge.
That's wild. What a mess. How much does one of those cost? A couple $100 million?
I think it was 70 million.
Yeah.
You're a little highball in there.
That's crazy.
That's a few school lunches.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not buying F-16s.
Imagine how many school lunches you could pay for with $70 million.
That's one thing is a lot of school lunches are free now.
Yeah, but I mean, somebody's paying for it.
We are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But imagine
not the government.
If we got $70 million to spend on school lunch.
Yeah, I'd have a lot of Code Red Mountain Dews and burritos when I was a kid. Now knowing that red dye is the one that, according to RFK, is the one that, I don't know if it is according to RFK, but apparently it causes a lot of like anxiety issues and whatever health issues, like red dye number, whatever.
Well, I haven't had red dye in a while and I'm still anxious.
Yeah, but you probably had a lot of red dye in your childhood.
I had a lot of Red Hot Cheetos.
It's like the ones that are in the gummy bears.
I don't like gummy. I'm not a gummy guy.
Oh, I had gummy bears tonight.
I like
before
gum.
You came. I do too. I had a gum making kit when I was a kid.
It's the most useless shit I ever heard.
What's a gum making kit? You get to make your own gum. It's like chewable. You flavor it yourself. Yeah. It was weird.
Little scientist over there.
Yeah. Well, I don't have funding anymore, so I can't make it.
Actually, I didn't have a gum making kit, but I did have a gummy making kit.
You don't even eat gummies. What are you doing?
I ate the ones I made.
Oh, okay.
Obligated. Everything tastes better after you make it.
No, everything tastes better after somebody else makes it.
Almost everything somebody else made. No, things taste better when I make it.
Okay, well,
there's like love in there.
You're just saying that your wife's a bad cook right now.
If she's listening to this, she's definitely not.
You've complimented her cooking before.
Yeah, she made a delicious beef Melange.
I don't even. Geez, that sounds fancy. What the fuck is that?
It's like beef and veggies.
Oh, okay. Just say that.
Yeah. But I said it fancy, so it sounds good. She makes
Yeah.
delicious curry. Nikujaga, which is like Niku means meat.
Okay.
Jaga means potato, so it's meat and potatoes,
No,
but
that's
it's
just a Jabba.
Jabba, Niku Jabba. That's a Star Wars character.
Yeah, kind of.
The
The YouTube character mixed with the Star Wars character.
who's a YouTube
Your
character?
Nico Avocado or whatever.
No, I'm not gonna eat that guy. Makes tasty stew.
You're making me hungry. Cut it out.
Let's see. Current events. I got nothing.
All right. Well, that's all right.
You just want to end on food? You just got hungry and you wanted to go home?
No.
Oh, I was thinking about RFK, which you just mentioned. Man, my impression of are they going to put him in a conservatorship?
Why do you say that?
Man, okay. When he was first running, aside from the voice thing, like I tried to convince my mom like to vote for him. Like I was like, I think he could win. Like, okay. Let's go back to the election times.
Okay.
So like
Taking a few steps
4 or
back
6
here.
months ago, crazy days. I would call myself a liberal. I do not like Trump as a person or a candidate. Sometimes I think he's funny, unfortunately. I think he's a bad person and a worse leader. But I also didn't like Kamala.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's not going to be, I think, for the reasons that get thrown out by people who get mad at you for not liking Kamala as a liberal, right? Like I thought she was too similar to Joe Biden. I don't see. Here's the thing. I don't think Kamala has too many like principles, which is what bothered me about her. She's not like idealistic. She's
she also just seems super fake. Like
Yeah, that's what I
everything was
mean.
very
she doesn't believe anything. So
Yeah.
she's like, tell me what I'm supposed to believe.
Yeah.
That's the vibe I got from her. I mean, that's the impression I got from her from all the reporting.
I mean, realistically, she just kind of plopped in there and was like, that was a whole mess. All of that was a mess. We'll just
Yeah. And she like the main, I'll be honest, the thing I voted on in the last election was Israel or Gaza. Like that was my voting thing. Like that was I was what you would call a one issue voter. There are lots of things I care about, but I felt like I couldn't in good conscience vote for a candidate who is shipping weapons to that.
Yeah.
And Biden was obviously doing that. It's come out recently. I don't know if you heard this, that like, Biden was saying like every other week, like we're sternly requesting, nicely asking Israel to stop, to like cut it out, kind of slow down. Apparently that was never happening. They never once asked them to stop. That came out in like recent documents, which not surprising since they didn't stop. And it's very clear that we could have stopped sending them the weapons that they're shooting at any moment. I
wonder how much of the United States population, just like regular everyday people, are actually paying attention to any of that.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I feel
like it's pretty minimal.
Yeah. I'm way more tuned in than most people, to my mental health detriment. Like Kamala wasn't willing to say like, I'm going to stop sending arms to Israel, because she didn't want to piss off the part of the electorate who cared about that.
Right.
And so I voted for Jill Stein, because she was like openly saying, like, I knew she had no chance of winning, but I'm in California, and I knew like my vote essentially doesn't matter in California.
If enough people keep saying that,
well,
there's going to be a day where,
I mean, I did. See,
there's
here's the
going to be
thing.
a
I
day where
said
it's
it.
like the American Idol situation and Chris Daughtry. I don't know if you remember that. Like everybody loved Chris Daughtry or whatever.
Yeah.
And everybody just assumed that he was going to be safe because
so
they were
voted
like,
for somebody else.
so that everybody voted for somebody else. And even like all of the hosts and everything were like, what the fuck? Like that was not supposed to happen.
Interesting.
Yeah. And he lost.
But see, here's the thing. I say it, but I did vote green.
Yeah.
Right? Or whatever the fuck party she is. I think she's green. Yeah, because like there was like a protest vote. That's all I got.
I did that one time.
Yeah.
I think the first Trump round. And then the second time around, I was like, oh, I was the like a vote not for either of them as a vote for Trump situation.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really want either of them, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think that's most of us.
Yeah. And I'm kind of mad at the Democrats for that because I feel like they put up a shitty candidate. And
Yeah.
they like I would consider myself on the left. I don't consider myself a Democrat,
Yeah.
if that
Same.
makes sense.
Yeah. Same. But wait, where were you headed with this though?
Oh no. Don't ask me that. This is the surefire way to derail me.
We were talking about RFK and you were asking if he was going to be put into a conservatory.
Right. So before I voted for Jill Stein, there was a point during that run. It was before RFK dropped out and endorsed Trump, where I was like, I feel like RFK gets us. He like had like cogent points on like housing policy and like he cared about health, and to me, like he didn't seem like a crazy person.
But he's always been labeled as like kind of conspiracy-esque type of individual. Yeah.
And I guess I just wasn't hearing the right stuff because the stuff that like Malcolm Gladwell pointed out about him, which, you know, I recommend that episode because we're not going to do it justice. He sounds like he's going to cause a lot of harm.
Right.
Which is not good in like a national health secretary.
Yeah, I mean, but there's certainly a lot of people also now and that don't believe in vaccines, right? Because of the whole fucking COVID debacle. Whether you believe whatever you believe, you know, I think a lot of people on both ends were just like very misled and confused. And so now there's a bunch of people that just don't trust anybody, and they're like anti-vaccine, they're anti-medication, they're anti-whatever. And that's kind of seems to be RFK's stance, where he's just like, he's said that he's not anti-vaccine, but then, you know, I feel like they're gonna start rolling back on vaccine and medical care.
He keeps getting forced to say he's not anti-vaccine.
Right.
He's anti-vaccine.
You think so?
Yeah, because
but his kids were vaccinated, right? Like, didn't he say his kids were vaccinated, or do you think that's just a?
They probably were.
Yeah.
The question is like how much say he had in
but
that.
Didn't vaccines, even within our lifetime, vaccines have increased substantially, right? Like we only used to get like 6 vaccines or something like that, and now it's like 30 or 40 vaccines by the time we're before we're even a teenager.
Maybe. I mean, my mom has a scar on her bicep, and they have this in Japan too. Like they don't do this anymore.
Europeans do. That's polio or something, right? What is that?
No, it's like a vaccine run. Like it's like you get like 15 different vaccines in one shot.
Yeah.
I think
thought there was one particular one that caused like a scar like that on there.
Really?
Yeah.
I think they do that with rabies too, but it has to be in your stomach. But it's like the rabies vaccine, or I don't know. I guess it must be a vaccine, but if you get like bitten by a bat or something like that, you have to get it.
Yeah.
If you can't catch the bat, you have to get like, it's like a bunch of shots.
Ugh. Yeah.
And you can't get anesthetized because it interferes with the vaccine.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds fun. Don't get bit by a bat, everybody.
Yeah. The explanation for like why RFK believes what he believes was in the Malcolm Gladwell episode, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
It was like, so there's Louis Pasteur, right? Who invented like germ theory as we understand it today, right? Pasteurization, all that, right? Germs exist. I'm not sure if Pasteur was the one who said like little beasties.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah. Which is such a hilarious quote. Just imagine some dude with a little microscope. He's like, oh my God.
I just imagine a big mouth breather guy, like saying, like, you know, somebody you'd see watching, I don't know.
He's got a French
playing
accent.
Dungeons and Dragons and eating cheesy poofs or something.
Interesting. I imagine him having like a long mustache, twirly. Oh, little beasties.
Yeah, see? Yeah.
Anyway. And there was another like competing scientist from around the same time who had like a different theory, which was that your health depends on like the terrain of your body, right? Your health, basically. Are you clean? Essentially, like, are you, you know, cleansing, all that stuff? You know, the germs are actually like a symptom of your unhealth rather than the other way around. I think it's a logical place to go. The only problem with it is that it's been, you know, clinically and observationally empirically disproven by like 70 years of science now.
Right, but I think that's the problem is people are not trusting science anymore.
Right.
And so they're being like, oh, well, have we been lied to this whole time? And
Right.
like these things that you're saying are proven, you're just lying to us. You're just telling us these things so that way, we get the vaccines and the corporations can make their money or what. I don't know, whatever it is they're thinking. But, why did you think that they were going to be bringing RFK down, right? Like, because you were saying, are they Biebering him?
I just meant like, since he's become health secretary, like to me, my impression of him is that he seems more crazy.
Got it. Okay.
Um,
See, I feel like I've always seen a little bit of crazy.
I feel like maybe I had blinders on.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like maybe I was giving him, like he talks well, right? I mean,
does he talk well?
But like aside from,
you mean the things he says before being in his current position, you liked?
Generally, yeah.
Yeah.
Like
kill a bear and bury it in the in the park.
I never heard him like talk about that. But also, people like
sorry, run into a bear and throw the roadkill in
is that what happened?
I think that's what happened. Is he hit it with his truck or something?
Yeah.
I think it was like he hit it with his truck and was going to take it home and eat it, and something had happened, and then he had to drop it off at a park.
See, I feel like there's like a world where there's like a legitimate explanation for that. like legitimately, if you live in like a rural-ish area, and you hit a wild animal with your car that happens to be, made of meat that you can eat, and how to like dress an animal and all that shit, then
I could be pulling that out of my ass whether he was going to eat.
Yeah, man. Who knows?
I don't know. I have to look that up. I should have a computer in front of me now.
The only reason you're not allowed to eat, like if that was a caribou, people would be, right? The reason people get weirded out there was a bear, as Joe Rogan would say, is because it's a...
Would they though? Like if he tossed it off into a park? I think that was the part. Like, didn't he throw it into like Central Park, like some fucking major park or something?
Who's
like that?
putting the bears in New York City?
I don't know. It wasn't. No, I don't think it was Central Park, but it was some random ass park. I don't know. The whole situation was weird.
What was he supposed to do with it?
Was it a bear? It was a bear.
I don't know. Ground truth.
Yeah. Either way, I guess I could see what you're saying, but I think people have been portraying him as a little crazy from the beginning.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: if there are people who say you're nuts, but then you can go on camera for 3 hours and sound logical and reasonable and talk about something that I don't know anything about and like confidently and well, then I'm gonna think you're like an intelligent person, probably, and I'm gonna think that like most likely you are a person who is like being smeared. Right? Like smearing happens, unfortunately.
But who's smearing him? He's already in office.
I mean, people smear Trump every day. Like
I guess that's true.
Smears can be true, right? But having power, I would feel like makes you more likely to be smeared rather than less. And like pursuing power is a very big time of smearing.
So do you think there is a possibility that RFK and Trump and the current administration or whatever is actually trying to do good and is being smeared?
I think it's more complicated than that. The Trump thing, I legitimately don't know. I don't know if he is just an incompetent narcissist or if he's like intentionally doing destruction. I don't know. Like, I feel like either of those is equally possible at this point.
Do you think the things that he's doing are actually destructive or they're being portrayed as destructive?
I mean, some of the things he's doing are certainly destructive, right? He is like begging for a constitutional crisis, right? He's consistently and like aggressively challenging the authority of the courts and of Congress, right? Like he's completely like disrespected the separation of powers, right? Tariffs, like power of the purse lies with Congress, right? So like he's not supposed to be able to like levy tariffs, right? Like the declaration of war, like he's not supposed to be able to do that, right? So we're not like a lot of the stuff we're doing militarily, we should not be doing at all because we have not declared war. The problem is the Patriot Act, right? We're at war with everybody all the time. We're at war with terrorism.
When
And
did the Patriot Act come into play?
probably 2001 or 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was after 9/11.
Okay.
Yeah, basically
There's no timeline on that. No expiration date. It's just implemented until taken out.
the war on terror never ends, brother.
Yeah.
So Bush gets 9/11, right? The Patriot Act passes with like near unanimous vote. We are suddenly at war with terror, an idea rather than an individual group or a country, which means the president essentially has war powers and
Permanent war powers.
permanent war powers,
Yeah.
which is extremely expanded compared to like his normal powers. Honestly, Obama is just as guilty as Bush because Obama was the first president after Bush. He was on the other side. And what he should have done is saying, I don't believe this is right. We don't need, to be at war with terror anymore. Like this was an event that happened in the past. It's tragic. It's terrible, but it's gone too far. Because even if he knew that he was going to do good stuff with his expanded war powers, he didn't know who's coming after him.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the problem though, is once they get a certain amount of power, they don't want to give it up, right? That I think that's another thing they don't think about is they put in these abilities to expand their power, and then they don't think about, okay, well, now the opposite end of the spectrum is going to come into office, take my position, and then they're going to have those abilities, right? That was a bunch of things that they were doing to Trump when they were essentially going after him for all these kind of non-related things to try and get him in jail before the next election. But then now he's going and he's going to be doing that to everybody else that are his enemies because he's like, oh, well, they did it to me.
Yeah.
And now I know that I can do that. I'm going to do it on my turn. Instead of being respectful of the country and doing the thing that's right, like you said, with Obama should have been like, oh, this is too much. We should take a step back.
Well, I think, didn't Biden preemptively pardon his whole family?
He did. He did. So yeah, Biden pardoned like his whole family. And I'm pretty sure, didn't Trump make a comment about pardoning himself or something like that? Like why didn't Biden pardon himself?
Didn't he?
Did he not? I don't think he did.
I don't think he can, but I don't think it matters because Trump like won a Supreme Court case that was like,
Anything you do in
you do
office is not
as
illegal.
president is legal. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So we have a king.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So how does that work? So you can't send a president to jail? No? You can't send a president to prison?
nope, you gotta do other stuff.
Pull the mic down.
Not that I'm endorsing,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I mean, maybe presidents are just immune.
Yeah, that seems unconstitutional.
It seems bad for sure. I don't know if it's unconstitutional, but it's definitely bad. I mean, I've heard this comment made by a couple of people now, but like it makes a lot of sense. Like our system does not anticipate a lawless president, a lawbreaker, right?
Yeah.
Our system sort of depends upon like a certain level of decorum on behalf of the leader. And if that's lost, then like we don't have any levers to pull, really. Like I think it was Ulysses S. Grant, one of the Confederate people, who like he was gonna do something, and the Supreme Court said you can't do that, and he's like, "Let's see him stop me."
So it has happened.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it was like during the Civil War.
Yeah. I assume with a future president that one of them can strike that down if they wanted to be like a good person, a good leader.
I mean, that's the thing. We do like you do get those like presidents who like completely flip the script for the better. And I think, on a positive note, like I think the worse Trump is, the more potential for like a radical opposition grows, and like the more hunger there will be for not some like, like limp noodle of a Democrat.
Yeah.
Oh, there was a Gavin Newsom scandal.
Scandal?
Yeah, this was another James Lee one. It was money laundering. So apparently
Oh
there's like this
no.
huge. Yeah, it's such a bummer because I was like yes, Gavin Newsom seems like kind of slimy.
Yeah, but he had like the potential to actually, you know, take over. Like if he were to go up against Trump earlier on before he was slimy
It's
here.
not just that, like
Yeah.
he's like I thought maybe he stood for good stuff.
Yeah.
Um
No, he just keeps like I don't know. I don't know what to think about him
like
because
he did the insulin pricing thing. I don't know like how much he was involved with that, but like the price of insulin in California was like capped to like $15 a month or something like that. And that's like really major for people with diabetes, obviously. I mean, this is still in the allegedly phase. So there's like this like multi-million dollar, or maybe it's like $1 billion that was supposed to like be spent to like solve homelessness, quote unquote. And more homeless people than ever. So obviously
yeah.
it's not working. You start to wonder why, and I don't know if it was James Lee himself like doing this investigative journalism or if he was reporting on someone else's, but um you start like looking where this money is going, and there are like shell corporations that go to the
Mhm.
Cayman Islands, and like this one particular like real estate developer that's building like it's spending like $150 million on like 400 units of housing. Like think about that legitimately.
Yeah.
So you got $1 billion. That's 1,000 million. You spend 150 of that thousand on 400 units. We've got like 10,000 homeless people right now.
Yeah.
So
Probably more than that.
I mean, 10,000 that they've counted, and maybe that number is low, but it's a real large number, larger than 400. So you spend 15%, if my math is correct, of your budget on 400, and your budget's $1 billion on 400 units. And then there was like another development that was like 78 million. That was for like 67 units. And they both flow through this like one real estate corporation that's tied to these like shell corporations. And the idea is you use the homelessness funding to build these essentially luxury condos, right? Because if you're spending a couple $100,000 per unit, right? Think about that. Like how like the economy of scale of building like an apartment building is probably not on the per unit. So you build these luxury condos. You apparently there's like a statute of limitations essentially on the home. Like you let them out to homeless people for 5 years, right? As like required by whatever law was passed, whatever bill was passed. And then when that 5 years is up, you lease them out to like normies for, 300, three grand a month, something like that.
Yeah.
But you got it for free on the government's dime.
Where did you say that you were looking into this at?
That was another James Lee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his videos are short. So like
It bums me out to think like, are there any fucking politicians that are just not greedy ass slime balls?
Bernie.
You don't think he's a greedy ass slime ball too? Secretly?
No.
Didn't he? I don't know. I don't even want to comment on that too much, but somebody had said something about him like with some money situation too. I don't know.
No, no,
Yeah.
Bernie. He's pure.
I don't know. I don't know a lot about Bernie.
Yeah, I mean I don't know like deeply about him either,
Yeah.
but he seems legit. I mean he's been preaching the same stuff for
Yeah, when he talks, he seems like he cares, but
yeah.
it's just like I just don't know who to believe anymore. You know?
Uh,
Do you think that the Newsom thing could be another situation he's being Biebered? Because he has the potential to go up against whatever the Republican candidate's going to be.
so in this case, the way I heard the reporting, it wasn't like somebody public saying it. I'm pretty sure it was James Lee doing the investigation. I would guess because I don't think he cited anyone. But basically, it was like he just followed the money,
Yeah.
and he was like, "Huh, where's this going? Where's this going? Where's this going? Oh, it's tied to this guy. What's this guy building? He's spending how much?" And you just kind of follow the money, and you do a little back of the napkin math, and you're like, "He's spending how much on what
Yeah.
for homeless people?"
Homeless people that are still out there. I'm from San Francisco Bay Area originally too, and we had the BART station, Bay Area Transit or whatever. I don't know what the BART exactly stands for.
Simpson.
Yeah, Bart Simpson, Bay Area Railroad Transit, maybe. I don't know. Rail.
Probably rail.
Yeah.
Rapid.
Anyway, Rapid. I think that's what it is. Bay Area Rapid Transit. Yeah. He if you like go onto the BART station, it's literally just people fucking shooting up. Like when you're walking through the station, just homeless people sitting there just shooting up heroin, tweaking out in fucking hallways and crowding up the bathrooms. And then you get out in San Francisco and it just smells like shit and piss everywhere. And
That's crazy too, because San Francisco is such a beautiful city.
I know. Yeah.
It's such
the
a
last
bummer.
time I was there, it actually wasn't that bad, surprisingly. But LA,
You went at the same time as G?
yeah, it was all fenced off. It was like a year ago that I went.
I would like to live in a nice place. This is why I'm gonna have to leave America.
Oh man, let's just see what happens.
Yeah.
In the next 3 years.
Yeah. We've got time to turn around, people.
I just hope it doesn't turn into Handmaid's Tale. I know you haven't watched it, you haven't read it, but for those of you who have, I'm just saying, I hope it doesn't turn into Handmaid's Tale.
What movie do you hope it turns? A TV show do you hope it turns into? We don't want to live in Silo.
Yeah.
We probably don't want to live in Severance, although that was like a relatively normal reality. Just don't split your brain.
I mean, probably Ted Lasso.
Okay.
I don't even watch the show, but everybody seems happy in it from what I've seen.
There you go. I haven't seen either, so let's assume it's like a lovely, peaceful world.
Yeah. What else? I don't know. What is it? That's the thing, is there's not really a lot of lovely, peaceful shows out there. Everything's dark, scary, sad, Black Mirror-y.
Are we reflecting our political reality, or are we manifesting it with our bad fucking vibes, man?
I honestly have thought about that. I do think that there is a lot of depression and like anger and stuff going on in the world because of a lot of the like
entertainment,
the like content that's out there.
We're like obsessed with like dystopia.
Yeah. It's weird. Like everything's dark, and it's like literally it's dark messaging, dark like imagery. Everything's just so dark.
You know, as a writer, maybe, so art is politics, right? Like, you know, people say like, you know, don't make Star Wars political. I'm sorry, all my dumb voices are Midwestern. I don't mean it. Don't make Star Wars political.
What is it? Are you going Australian?
I don't know. I was trying to be more of like a cute lib.
Oh, it sounded Australian a little bit.
I'm sorry.
Just had to get them babies out flying around afterwards.
There it is. Don't make Star Wars political.
Yeah. Okay, we need Daniel here for the accents.
All right, we'll splice him in later. But like, you know, there's a lot of people who argue that like all art, like, unless you're like drawing flowers, is political, right?
Sure.
Especially like TV.
I mean, certainly a lot of it is.
TV, film, music, whatever. Yeah. And so you like think of it at the level of like the individual writer. What is like held up as like great literature, right? You think back at like the people who have like foretold the future, who have like said something like prescient about the time they live in, or the time
it's always
coming.
like Animal Farm,
1984. And so people, the aspiring writers, like, well, I've got to think about the political issues of my day, extrapolate from there, and then I will take it to the next level of the logical conclusion. My talking is going not good. Anyway, me no think good.
Jeremy's turning into a caveman here.
So everybody's trying to make their mark, and what we end up with is a lot of dystopias on TV. Here's the problem. It's people. The problem is you fucking people.
Yeah, well, the problem is always people.
The problem is people, because people try to make upbeat, conflict-free fiction, and nobody likes
wants it. Yeah. That's not true. Bring back the 90s. Bring back the 90s sitcoms. Bring back the Home Improvement.
Or like even the 70s sitcoms. I fucking love Three's Company.
Three's Company. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, give me the laugh tracks.
Love it. I'm sold. Can we get a laugh track?
I'll overlay it.
I'm just imagining.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining the laughter washing over me.
Yeah.
You've got to do it.
Okay. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. We'll see. Takes a lot of effort on my end.
What's a little more? What's a little more effort?
I do think a lot of the like shows in the 90s and maybe I mean I was just a baby in the 80s or whatever, but you know, it's just there was like obviously there was like dark stuff too, but there was a lot of lighter shit. You know, we had the Terminator 2 balanced out with the Boy Meets World.
Yeah.
Boy Meets World was 2000s though.
That was 90s.
Was it 90s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the theory. We are both fucked up.
Are we though?
The Netflix algorithm is serving us up dystopian shit. There's comedy out there waiting to be enjoyed, and we just think it's stupid, so we don't watch it.
Right, but the whole world is that right now. Well, at least like a lot of people in the United States, which is apparently the whole
I
world.
don't know. I saw someone watching Ted Lasso very recently in this house.
Yeah, well, okay, so my wife is the only one that's not fucked up in the world.
She's full of hope,
Yeah.
full of light and hope.
Well, I think there's the people that use it as a way to escape the darkness in the world.
See, we need more of those people.
Yeah. Like she can't watch Black Mirror. She refuses to watch it with me.
Yeah. I mean, I've got like that. I've got bars for that too, but
yeah,
I guess it's higher than hers. But I do seek out the dystopias, which is not good.
I like a good, like, I like the dystopia stuff though, but like with some hope to it, right? Like for example,
Dystopia.
Dystopia.
Can we make a TV show called Dystopia?
Dystopia?
No, Dyst?
No, I like like this.
Dystopia. Trademark.
Oh yeah, done. I gotta cut that out of here so nobody steals it from us.
I think there's still comedy. I think comedy still exists. Will Ferrell's still alive.
Yeah, but is he making anything funny anymore?
I don't know. Because the algorithm doesn't tell me.
I think they're tearing him down. I think they're Biebering him.
Save Justin Bieber.
You know, I said it once, I'll say it again. I really don't mind Justin Bieber. I used to hate him when I was younger because he seemed like such a little prick.
Well, also because you were competing with him for the finite pool of women.
No, I was not even in the competition with him. I think he was getting more girls when he was 14 than I could even talk to.
Yeah.
By that age.
Same.
No, like I like his music.
I don't have like strong feelings about his music. It's good. Like it's poppy. I'm not like a poppy guy. I'm a dad, so I like jazz.
Yeah. Oh, I just had this conversation with a guy who worked on my air conditioning unit. Like he was in a band and I was like, yeah, I used to do that too. But now I just listen to like jazz. And he's like, oh yeah, dad. Yeah. Oh, speaking of Bieber though, and kind of lighthearted TV shows is Selena Gomez, his ex-girlfriend, is in Only Murders in the Building, which is a kind of lighthearted show. I mean, it is light. It's like, it's a dramedy, I guess you would call it. Like
So
it's like murder mystery. Somebody gets murdered in every season and then they have to figure it out, but it's like goofy.
You can't kill people funny.
Apparently you can.
Yeah, you can.
Well, I'm going to kill this episode.
All right.
But it's not going to be that funny.
Can you do the laugh track?
There it is.
Thank you.
All right, Jeremy.
Can I have the button?
Here you go.
I get a lot of joy out of that.
There you go. Good. I'm glad I can make you happy. All right, Jeremy.
All right.
I'm going to be Daniel. I'm hungry.
Yeah.
So,
burrito time.
Thank you guys for listening to Freshly Said, Aaron and Jeremy edition. We'll get Daniel back to break up our nonsense, and
we'll have to dig him up, but
yeah.
Yeah.
We'll catch you next time.
Next time. See you at Del Taco.
All right. Night, guys.
Night.